Hello everyone. Today we shall look into the topic the direct method, made easy just for you. In the previous video, we looked into the grammar translation method. As a continuation of methods of teaching language, now we shall look into the direct method. When Latin and Greek lost their popularity, English became more popular as a world language of communication. So there was a need for the development of oral skills in English. As the grammar translation method paid little importance to oral skills, this method came into practice. Though this method was officially developed after the fall of grammar translation method, as a reaction to it in the history of language teaching, methods similar to this method could be traced at various periods of time, and these methods are generally grouped under the title direct method or natural method. So I told you, right, there are similar methods to this. Some of the methods which belong to this group are the reform method, psychological method, series method, phonetic method and the natural method. Many similarities can be found among these methods, though they were developed at different periods of time and in different parts of the world. The direct method was a successful method at the Berlin School in Europe for teaching English. Language institutes like Alain Francois and Goethe institutes used this method very successfully to teach German and French respectively. Now, we shall look into the features of the direct method. First, use of learner's mother tongue is totally prohibited in English classes as it will prevent learners from using English for the development of oral skills. So, they believe that mother tongue will really interrupt the fluency level. So, it is totally prohibited. Next, spoken form of English is more important than the written form, and the materials used in English classes have dialogues in plenty. So an acceptable pronunciation is emphasized. Next, grammar is not taught directly, but learners are encouraged to discover grammar rules themselves while they learn English language. They learn the grammar indirectly. You will not know that I am learning grammar. Okay, whenever I am giving a conversation, you will have the sentence pattern or you will have the plurals put correctly, but you will not be taught directly. Next, teaching aids are used in English classes to help learners to understand meaning. So in addition, they use miming and gestures to make meaning clear. So when you see grammar translation method, you have the reference to the first language, whereas there is no option like that in direct method. So what they will do, they will give a miming or they will do the gesture to show you what the meaning is being conveyed. Okay, so no first language or no native language is used. Instead of native language, miming and gestures are used as aids of learning. Language learning situation is one of the language use and it is as far as possible natural. So that is why this method is equated with the natural method. Real life conversations are put forward. That is why it is known as natural method. Real life situations are taken as example and that would be your aids of learning. So that is why it is known as natural method. English is used in the classroom for instruction and communication, whereas that is not at all in the grammar translation method. Here both the instruction and communication, everything will be in the target language. This method is called the direct method because the target language is taught directly without the use of any other language. English through English, for example. Okay, so whatever it is being taught, it will be taught in the target language itself. Now we shall look into the techniques used in the direct method. First is the question answer exercise. Here the teacher asks questions of any type and the student answers. The next is dictation. The teacher chooses an appropriate passage, maybe according to the standards or according to the grade of the student. She selects a passage and reads it aloud. Next is reading aloud. Here the student takes turns while reading a passage, where there will be a long passage and they would take turns one after another as the whole class continues. And the next is student self-correction. Here what happens is, when a student makes a mistake, the teacher will offer him a second chance by giving a choice. Then what the student will do, if a choice is given, then he would think about it. Oh, this is not the correct answer. What I delivered is not the correct answer. The choice that the teacher gave is correct actually. She thought it that way. Then he would himself correct it, and that is where self-correction comes. There is also peer group correction, where the class would be divided into team A and team B. One group will deliver a meaning. If it is right, then the team B would say it's right, or if it is wrong, then the peer group will correct him. That way the correction goes. And the next is the conversation practice. Here the students are given an opportunity to ask questions to their friends or the teacher. So this enables both the teacher-learner interaction as well as learner-learner interaction. And the next is paragraph writing. Here the students are asked to write a passage in their own words, where they or else the teacher would give a particular topic and they have to write about it, or she would give a hint and they should develop that hint development. That is why it is known as hint development. Okay, so these are the techniques used in the direct method. Now we shall look into the merits and demerits of the direct method. It helps in understanding of the target language because mother tongue is totally prohibited here. So what happens? It establishes a direct bond between the context and helps in understanding directly what is heard or what is said to you. Next, it improves the fluency of speech. When there is fluency of speech, then that would result in easier writing. And it improves the development of language sense, where it emphasizes the target language by the students would express their thoughts or feelings directly in the target language. So what would happen? The target language will be emphasized. It develops listening, speaking and reading skills. Those skills would result in employment opportunities as well. So, what is important for career development is being given by the direct method. And it makes use of audio-visual aids. And it facilitates alertness and participation of the students is more here. Next, we shall look into the demerits. It ignores the systematic written work and reading activities. And it cannot hold well in the higher level classes where translation method may be more suitable for the higher level students. So the direct method won't help. It ignores reading and writing aspects of the language learning, and it is time consuming in creating real life situations. You know, you cannot bring examples for each and every concept that is being taught in your class. So it is time consuming. So the teacher should keep on thinking what example can be given for this particular concept. So the real life situations cannot be brought into the class. And it is less suitable for slow learners who struggle with this method. And the next important thing is, it would be easier for students who have their mother background as their target language. If their language is English, if their mother tongue is English, then that would be easier for the child to inculcate those language learning things. Whereas if the mother's language is Telugu or Malayalam, their native language is Telugu or Malayalam, then think of those children. They would struggle to focus completely on direct method in your school. Whereas in school you will be teaching direct method, the teacher will never use the native language influence. Whereas in your home, your mom will keep on speaking to you in Telugu or Malayalam. So that would create a disadvantage to the child. So that would create a deviation to the child. Understand? So these are the disadvantages of the direct method. Now we shall look into the MCQ to boost your memory. First question is, English to English is a method of teaching in. Option A, grammar translation method. Option B, natural method. Option C, silent method. Option D, Suggestoppedia. Guess the answer, right? Okay. So the answer is option B, natural method. Understand this, direct method is also known as natural method. So when you don't see any direct method in the option, you should not leave it. So the answer, the other name for direct method is natural method. Okay. Thank you.